Hello everybody, welcome back to Waffles RC, and welcome to summer again. We are back on the big rig build. We have the frame and some of the suspension. We have the axles mounted to the frame. Today we are going to be starting on the body, so that way I can figure out ride height, and I really want to see what this thing looks like with the body on it. A couple of you have mentioned that I need to do the air ride on this thing. I found them on Amazon. They are $25 for two of them, and they are for the 14 scale, so they're quite small and not a lot of travel because the 14 scale doesn't need that much travel. Not that I want a lot of travel on this one either, but you get it. I don't think those will work. For the one person who said I didn't want to do leaf springs, no. That trailer right there proves that the leaf springs aren't going to be strong enough to handle the weight of this thing, because I had to double those up, and that's on what, a 4-pound trailer. This thing already weighs like 8 pounds, so do the math. I was also over at Granger and I found this cute little tape measure. I thought it was funny, and then I realized this is going to be a lot easier to use on RC stuff. It's only 6 feet, 2 meters. It has centimeters on it, so that might make it easier. I don't know. Gonna convert over to the metric system apparently. Airplane. Enough talking, let's get to the body. So for the dimensions of the body, all I did was went on Google, typed in Kenworth C500 body dimensions, and it brought this up. Has all the measurements, hopefully, that I'll need. So I'm going to take these measurements. They're all in inches, thankfully. Basically all that means, to make it 10th scale, or close enough to 10th scale, is I'm just going to move the decimal point. So like this measurement right here is 56.4 inches. So all I'm going to have to do is do 5.64 inches. I'm just going to do that with all of them, and then figure out how to draw it on a piece of metal, cut the sides out, then I don't know, I'm going to figure it out using this somehow, and then put it on here. So I don't know if you can see any of this. Yeah, you can. So the measurements aren't quite adding up to what I want them to, because I'm not good at math, but I am good at guessing. I'm going to fast forward to me just making something that looks like the side of a C500 and hope it comes out looking good. All right, I have just resorted to pictures because the measurements weren't working for me. That is for me. We have our front piece, angled it a little bit, just like the picture. We have our side piece. Yes, it doesn't look very good. I completely agree with you. That does not look very right, but it's missing the wheel arch, the air cleaner, the window, the shape of the door, which all of that's just going to be like painted. I'm not going to have functional doors. I'm not that good. To weld all these together, instead of just butting them up like that and hoping that everything works well, I'm going to be using my 3/16 tubing mainly for strength, and so I have something to weld to, grind off, and now I have a good rounded edge instead of trying to do that with super thin sheet metal. That's my thought process. So I'm going to cut a whole bunch of these, kind of strengthen it up, square it up as much as I can, and then put these 4 pieces together and have a basic cab. Then we'll start working on the hood, the roof, the window. I say the window, it's going to be metal. There's going to be a lot of painting involved to make this thing look like a truck. It's just going to look like a square box for now. And here is our cab-ish. I know it looks funny. It looks funny to me too. It kind of looks like a shoe. Like a big metal shoe. But once everything's decorated and stuff like that, it'll look right. And, you know, cut holes for grills and other fun stuff like that. For now, let's get a roof on it and the hood, and then figure out what to do here. I know to put a piece of metal there, but it's a little complicated. I'll figure it out. Okay, now it's starting to look like the cab of a truck. I'm glad that I did this a little extra tall. There still has to be wheel wells, but I have a feeling I might be cutting this a bit short. It's quite hot. The crown in it, I still have to spot weld and grind everything down, make it look real nice, which I'm going to do here in a bit. But for right now, it's dinner time. Before we get too carried away, let's see how this looks. Got the wheelbase somewhat on. May have to move the cab forward. It is sitting on a drive shaft, but I knew that. I'd say it looks pretty dang good so far. But what this thing needs first, out of anything, you know, other than cutting away space for drive shafts, because who needs those? It needs a sleeper. Well, as you can tell, it's getting dark out, and I'm nice and, you know, clean. I smell even better, you should imagine that. But I may have gotten a little carried away in the best way ever. So here's our conceptual drawing. And here's the truck. May have gone a little big with the sleeper, but I'm not changing it because it was the best material that I had. It was straight and it was the right length, so I just bent it. But, you know, got kind of a gap in here. But I am super incredibly excited. It'll look better once there's decorations and fender flares. This is nowhere near done in any way. We're just on the tip of this thing. This will be the sleeper. I'm gonna put some gas tanks, some steps, the fenders for the front wheels, and all the fun stuff back here. So you may be wondering, other than just it being dark, why I'm stopping. Well, I'm out of material and I'm out of welding gas. So I can't really go any further on the truck until I get those things, which will have to be next weekend. So I don't entirely believe that this is 10th scale. I will never say that I don't know what scale it is. It's big. That's the scale. What do I have for comparison? I did the Mercedes last time. Everybody knows that the Sen Racing F250 is a big RC. So I'd say I did pretty well size-wise, because cab, sleeper, 10 scale, full-size truck. I think this thing is going to be scaled just right to be bigger than these. The suspension is all completely bottomed out. Nothing on that is anywhere near done. I want to get the body relatively done first, so that way I know what size tires to get, where to put everything. Even though this thing is in total right now 3 feet long, I'm thinking for the future, for back here, we're going to have the Zack lift, or as someone very eloquently put it, the WAF lift. Then I can't get in trouble for calling it that. People are thinking out there. I love it. We can't have it right up against the sleeper because I have to be able to plug it in and bolt it on and all that stuff. So really there's only one thing to do. Gonna have to make the frame longer. See you next week.